So the British Navy is patrolling the English Channel because of a Russian destroyer that is sailing through that. Now, this is international waters. It's not an act of war or anything like that, although you can say that it's close enough to England where it warrants monitoring, right? If you have a foreign country with its military that is close enough to your borders, you want to take a look at it. But what's interesting to me is that the British Navy can monitor this destroyer and is obviously concerned with the borders of their country, but they can't monitor or cannot interdict rubber dinghies coming across the channel full of migrants, right? So they're concerned about Russia, but not about the force that is actually currently invading them. So if they're willing to deploy assets to monitor this Russian ship, they could certainly do something about these migrants that are arriving on their shore. They can, these migrants, they tend to take certain paths as a matter of a pattern. Usually they find the shortest place across. That's the Port of Calais right there in France, across English Channel where it's the shortest. They could very well put a patrol boat there. They could very well turn these little boats, they could very well turn them away and say, no, you're not allowed to cross this channel because you're not citizens of England and you're crossing illegally. That's just a matter of enforcing the law, okay? But it is, it's definitely hypocritical for sure. And it shows you where their priorities are. Russia, this old school strongman type of tyranny, which I'm not at all in favor of. I'm a believer in freedom. I'm a believer of the Enlightenment of the United States Constitution and Declaration of Independence and the Europe of the Enlightenment. Okay, not of the old school type of tyranny that Russia is, and certainly not the globalist, nihilistic type of tyranny that they're attempting to set up throughout Western Europe. So what this really is about is that they're trying to, either protect themselves or they're trying to, they're trying to propagandize the population and themselves that the Russian form of tyranny is somehow worse than the current tyranny that they're trying to set up with the help of these migrants arriving on their shores. So, obviously we see it for what it is, okay? And it's hypocritical as heck. But anyway, this is an article from the Daily Mail where they reported the incident with the Russian destroyer sailing through the English Channel. I'll post a link in the description below. I think the Dutch Navy was also involved in this. Again, their priorities, you see where their priorities are. They're too busy trying to set up a tyranny, this nihilistic tyranny, so they have to protect themselves from the old school practical form of tyranny that is Russia, which is really no threat. It's certainly not a conventional threat to these countries.